Welcome back, everyone, to the FTN College Basketball Betting Show. I'm your host, Mike Randle. You can follow me on Twitter at Randle Rand, Chief Content Officer here at FTN. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Very important here to be a subscriber to FTN as well, because you get our plays in the bet tracker. Like last night when we had Virginia down at the half against North Carolina, gave that out as a 3-unit play for their second half run. No Armando Bacot. Tremendous job here by North Carolina hanging into the first half. But when you're a subscriber, you get that information. You get in our Discord. You get them as they happen, folks. Real good night overall with the show. Fordham game, I was there. I told you that did not go as well. Deron Holmes, just incredible inside for Dayton, did a fantastic job. Was there with my two best friends, had a great time, of course. But we couldn't get that one, but we did get several other ones. So a good night overall, another profitable night. Let's see if we can continue it here and keep it going. Few games here, and then I'm going to jump on Mean Streets with Chris Meany right after this. So again, the shows keep coming here at FTN. Don't forget, please join us and make sure to stay with us, folks, with the shows that we provide you for the NFL playoffs, college basketball. We're all over the place here, folks. So let's get our games going here today. Make sure to put your comments and questions in the chat, and I will get to them as soon as possible. First game here, this is my play of the day, TCU and Texas to start us off. Now, the fade of Texas continues for me. You know my thoughts here, very up and down. I feel like they have no identity whatsoever. Solid defensive team built around strong defense with Chris Beard. Chris Beard now fired. Now they have kept the coaching staff in place, have done a nice job. They had a good win. They got us against Oklahoma State, but that was really because Oklahoma State just could not score, and that is not what's going to happen tonight with this TCU team. Longhorns are 7-8 against the spread, right? But they started 4-1, so they are 3-7 in their last 10 games against the spread, including that last game against Oklahoma State, which, again, Oklahoma State battled, but was missing the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year inside, which proved to be too much less of a challenge than what they're going to face tonight with Jamie Dixon's TCU team. Last time we saw the Longhorns in Austin, they dropped 116 points against them. They allowed 116 points against Kansas State. So, again, I don't think this Texas team has a real identity. Under Beard, they were struggling in offense, but they were locked down on defense. That is not what we have right now. It's a team that's sort of struggling back and forth with both. So I am going here with TCU. We know what Mike Miles can do. He had 33 points against Baylor, so he's the type of player that can make shots late. Encouraging sign for the Horned Frogs, who have struggled on offense because they had so many injuries. They had players who were out, who had to take a suspension, back and forth, but now they are fully loaded. They went 7 of 15 from three-point range. That's 46.7% in the loss to Iowa State. It was a 2-point loss to a really good Iowa State team that, as I told you yesterday, continues to be disrespected in the market, and they covered and won again last night. TCU has lost the last 6 regular season games to Texas, but TCU beat Texas 65-60 last year in the first round of the Big 12 tournament. So in this situation, I like TCU. I like what we have going on tonight. And 2 good teams, 2 good defensive teams. Like TCU's offensive rebounding, love the Horned Frogs coach Jamie Dixon, and I love Mike Miles late. I think they have all the pieces together. If you look at the metrics, this is a Texas team that is reflected by who they were at the beginning of the year and the early part of the year, not what they are right now. I get it. I just think 6.5 is too much. Give me TCU plus 6.5 in our first matchup. Next game for you here, folks. Vermont, and you knew this was coming with my love for John Becker, minus 1.5 against UMass Lowell. Folks, I said it with Bryant last week when Bryant went to Vermont. I made it my pick of the day. We got that one to the window. You come at the America East King, you better not miss. Bryant learned it the hard way. Then New Hampshire pulls the huge upset here out of nowhere at home to Vermont in the last game. I don't think John Becker's Catamounts give us 2 bad games in a row. UMass Lowell, very good defensive team, number 1 overall in 2-point percentage allowed. They are the best team statistically at defending inside the arc, just 40.4%, but they haven't faced Vermont yet, and Vermont is a disciplined team, a well-coached team, a veteran team that is now coming off a loss. The Riverhawks don't defend the three-point well, and they don't make free throws. Those are 2 big things against Vermont that are going to be a problem. Vermont, 37% of their points from deep. That's not good for UMass Lowell. This line opened as UMass Lowell minus 1.5. It is now flipped. Vermont is the favorite. I think the movement is the right movement here. UMass Lowell started the year 8-1 against the spread. They were scalding hot, one of the best teams in college basketball against the spread. Ever since that, they have struggled constantly. They beat UMass, which was a big win at UMass, and here's what they've done since UMass Lowell. They beat St. Francis, New York at home, no cover. They lost Rhode Island away in overtime, no cover. They beat BU at home, no cover. They beat NJIT away, no cover. They beat Maiden home, no cover. And then what they do in the last game, they lost to Albany by 26 points. Are we going to rally the troops and stop a 6-game slide, a sample set of 6 games where UMass Lowell has started to come back to the pack a little bit against Vermont and John Becker? I don't think so. Dylan Penn running the show here for Vermont. This UMass Lowell team reminds me a lot of the team that we saw last night with Fordham. Fordham, 12-1 to start the year, and they just could not handle Holmes inside. UMass Lowell, strong start to the year, sort of exceeding expectations, now coming back to the pack a little bit. Vermont off a loss. I will take them in this spot, game number 2. Game number 3. Love this game. You like betting on college basketball, you're going to love this game. A classic sharps versus squares matchup here. Pick your side. About 75% of the bets are on Xavier here at most books, and an overwhelming amount of the money, about 70%, is on Creighton. I'll give you the argument for both, and then you're going to see who I'm going to pick. Xavier is going for 10 in a row. They're 5-0 in the Big East, undefeated. They beat UConn at home. They beat Villanova away. Not easy. Superior on offense, the Musketeers, shooting 40% from three-point range. That's 4th best in the nation. Xavier, 3rd best percentage-wise, shooting from deep. 55.6% inside the arc. That's top 25. They play fast. 80-plus points per game in their last 3 matchups at home now. It's a small number. It's a slam for Xavier. Now here's the flip side. A team that is 13-3 in Xavier, undefeated in conference at home, is only favored by 2.5 points against a 9-7 Creighton team. That's not what you and I think. That's what the public, the casual bettor, is going to say. Wait a minute, 13-3 team at home, only favored by 2.5 over a 9-7 Creighton team? That's the issue. Now, here's the trade-off. Xavier is great from three-point range, 40%, but they don't take a lot of shots from three-point range. Only 25% of their points come from beyond the arc. So that percentage is a little misleading. Teams are also shooting just 67% from the free throw line against Xavier. That's going to regress as well. Xavier is horrific at defending the three-pointer. Awful, allowing over 36% from deep. Is that good against the Creighton Blue Jays? Have you met Bayer Shireman? I don't think so. Blue Jays are 2 different teams with and without Kalkbrenner. BYU, Arizona State, Marquette losses that Creighton had, all without Ryan Kalkbrenner, Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East. When he's there, they're a different team. Creighton played very tough against UConn. Don't get fooled by that final score. They just could not score over the last 2 minutes. They actually had the leads late in that game at UConn. Classic, and I mean classic, sharps versus squares matchup here. If you like Xavier at home, you like the big offense, you think they're going to get rolling, keep it going, that's fine. You can lay the small number. Me, I'm backing Creighton, a team that we talked about as a Final Four team preseason against a Xavier team that's now a little overinflated in the market, maybe at the top of what they can be. Xavier's defense is not great. They're not great against the 3. They have no bench at all. 5 starters for Xavier, average 28 minutes or more per game. Desmond Claude is their 4-star freshman at Xavier. He's not ready to contribute in a game like this. Senior Jerome Hunter is the only option off the bench for Xavier. If Xavier gets in foul trouble, it's a nightmare. Now, Hunter can contribute. He had 15 points against UConn, 9-9 from the free throw line, but still he's only 4.8 points per game. I'm taking Creighton plus 2.5. I am fading the public in this matchup. Couple games I want to go to here. These are big games, folks, that you can see on the slate. And we have a couple questions here coming up. Let me get to them right now, and then we'll go back. What about Samford laying 3 points at home against a Wofford team that neither of us are high on? Taylor, that's a spoiler alert. We will get back to that one in a minute, but I am going to agree with you. Yes, we will get back to that one. Excellent question there. Couple that we have going here. Here we go. This one I am going with the public on. Alabama versus Arkansas. My argument with Arkansas is they just don't have enough healthy bodies right now. They are playing just a few players here on their team, and they are using them the entire time. That is not a good situation against Alabama. Alabama's battle-tested. That win that they had against Houston in Houston is still one of the most impressive wins of the year. I know Arkansas has Ricky Council, who is 3rd in the SEC in points per game behind KJ Williams of LSU, and of course Miller from Alabama, who we will see tonight. But they are missing Trevon Brazile. They are missing players here. They are struggling. Nick Smith has only played 5 games. They are going with a very, very short bench. And I understand it's a rivalry, and I understand Arkansas is tough at home, and I understand the money's coming in on Arkansas. But sometimes the public wins, folks. And in this one, I am going with a good Alabama team that shoots the 3 well. I think they're going to play very well tonight. It's not going to be it's going to be up and down game. You bet Alabama, you're going to be down by 5 or 6 points in the first half. We know that. But Alabama destroyed Kentucky at home by 26. And I know they're in free fall right now for losing to South Carolina. They beat Mississippi at home. They won Mississippi State away. They beat Memphis home. They beat Houston away. This is a solid team that is defending at an extremely high level. They're top 10 in defense inside the arc. They're top 10 in 3-point percentage allowed. Here comes Arkansas, struggles against the 3, will need a massive, massive effort. And I understand, folks, that this is a sharps versus square game as well. But in this situation, I am going with Alabama in that matchup. Next up, Marquette plus 2.5 versus Connecticut. I like Marquette. I get it. I like Marquette, and I don't like what I've seen from UConn. I think UConn is a little overinflated in the market at this point, and Shaka Smart has a team. You know, chemistry is so important. We're seeing that with Kentucky. You can have all the talent in the world, but you need to have chemistry, and that's what Shaka has. This team is top 40 in defensive turnover percentage, and Marquette is extremely efficient inside the arc, shooting 60.5%. That is 3rd best in the country. Connecticut, nice win at home against Creighton, but that one was a little close. If you look at Connecticut over their last 5 games, this is not the same team that we saw get out to a 13-0 start and 2-0 in the Big East. They played Georgetown. They did not cover at home, and Georgetown was in that game the entire time. Villanova at home. Villanova just lost it to Paul last night. They did not cover in that game. They won. Xavier away. They lose by 10. Providence away. They lose by 12. Really wasn't competitive either in Providence. Now Creighton home. They did win by 9, but the spread there was very close. I think it was at 6.5. They almost didn't cover there. They do play defense, but Marquette is going to be able to play defense inside. They have to limit Sonogo. This Connecticut team, when you're talking about shooting from deep, they can be very up and down. I do not like laying points on the road in conference. You know that. I start with the underdog, and I build in my mind, how are you going to, in this case, get me to take the favorite? And I am not taking the favorite. I am taking Marquette with the 2.5 points. Next game, UMass minus 8.5 versus LaSalle. UMass is healthy. Wildens Levesque, the big man, is back tonight. I love their defense inside. UMass has struggled, but they have shown the ability to put up big, big points, especially at home. They lost to George Washington away. They were limited in that game, but the last time we saw them at home there, they beat St. Louis by 9 and hung 90 points on a really good defensive St. Louis team. They struggled at St. Bonaventure's, but they were missing 2 players in that game. They did not have Rasul Diggins. They did not have Levesque. Levesque is back tonight. He gives them nice balance inside with Conte. And when Fernandez is healthy, Noah Fernandez, he is a nightmare here. You have a LaSalle team on the road that has lost 4 of the last 6. They're coming off a home win over Rhode Island, but it was in overtime. They lost at VCU. They beat Howard away. And prior to that, they lost 3 straight games. LaSalle, Drexel, Cincinnati, and Lafayette. So I like this team. I like what we have going on with UMass. Yes, it's a big number, but I am going to lay it here with the Minutemen at home. Charleston's been fantastic. Charleston is ranked now nationally. Charleston now number 24 here, ranked nationally, and they are on a fantastic winning streak. Tremendous job by Pat Kelsey with the Cougars. They have the nation's longest winning streak at 15 straight games. I think it comes to an end tonight against UNC Wilmington. They are 4-0. They had 4 wins against Hampton, Towson, North Carolina A&T, and Delaware, but the games are getting a little bit closer. They play fast. This is a balanced offense in Charleston. Now, no one runs away and hides. They all average about 10 or 12, but that means in a close game, you have to know where your shot's coming from. I like UNC Wilmington, who, by the way, has the nation's second longest winning streak at 13 games. They are playing well. They've won 3 of their first games in the CAA on the road. Monmouth away, Elon away, North Carolina A&T. They are superior at defending the 3-pointer, so they're going to lock Charleston down from there. They force turnovers. They make their free throws. I like this UNC Wilmington team. They play at a slow pace, so points are going to be at a premium. I think Charleston goes down tonight. Love what Charleston's doing. They're trying to build a resume that they can get in as an at-large team, but I think UNC Wilmington, a few too many points, folks. I am taking them as a home underdog, as we talked about yet again. And the last game I'll get to here, thank you to Taylor for bringing this up. Samford and Wofford. I don't like this Wofford team. It's exactly right. Wofford still is a team that doesn't have an identity to me. They used to be a team that made a ton of three-point shots and were just a really, really tough matchup in the Southern Conference. This is a team that has struggled. They are horrific at defending inside the arc, allowing 55% from inside the arc, one of the worst marks in the country. So you have Wofford, the Terriers, who are terrible at defending inside the arc, and they are terrible at shooting threes, under 30% from three-point range. Don't like this team at all. Samford is a team that can shoot from three-point range, allowing 37.2%. They can't defend the three at all, but I don't think this is going to matter against a Wofford team that can't score it. They are very good inside the arc. They make their free throws. They force turnovers. And Samford, by the way, in the SoCon under Bucky McMillan, 4 straight wins. They are 4-0. They're undefeated in the SoCon. Mercer home, Citadel away, VMI, and then UNCG, which is not easy, away. That's a nice win for them. Don't like Wofford at all, who is 2-2. They are on a 2-game winning streak within the conference here, but I just don't think it's going to matter tonight. I am going with Samford and the small number there against the Terriers. Any other comments, make sure to put them in. Again, I will put my plays up. Make sure to get to the FTN Bet Tracker. I will have all the plays in there. We will adjust. And again, those second half lines, player props that will come out later today as well. Really looking forward to them. Had a nice hit last night. Nice night overall as well. Again, recap, Iowa State, very underrated nationally. Kansas State, close game back and forth, but they did cover for us as well. Virginia got there at the end of the better day as well. So big night. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Again, like and subscribe here at FTN. We'll be back on Saturday morning for a big slate on Saturday morning. College basketball in effect. We have our FTN data site, our FTN Daily, getting ready for the NFL playoffs. FTN Bets, we have you covered here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Randle Rant. We'll make sure to get you to the window tonight, folks. Hit me up, and we'll see how we do. Good luck.